Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of That's So Matthew. Today, I am so excited to have two very special guests here with me on the show today. Introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Sydney.
And I'm Bob. You know me.
Yeah, we all know
Yes.
Bob. Bob is back, everyone. But this time, you brought a special guest with you, Bob, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this person is very important to me, and this movie is very important to her. So, Sid, I think you should just kind of say who you are and what you do and why we're talking about this today. Matthew, that cool?
Perfect with me.
I'm Sydney. I'm Bob's girlfriend. I saw this movie when I was 7 for the first time and basically fell in love with the animal ever since. Just fell in love. And now, in certain areas, orcas are actually endangered. So I basically trying to save them.
I love it. I feel like this is such a great movie to talk about with you both here on the podcast because obviously it's a really heartwarming movie. Like, I knew it was going to be good. I've heard from Bob and Sid how much this movie means, and I was just kind of not expecting it to kind of hit as home as much as it did. I was just not expecting to enjoy it as much, so I'm really excited to kind of get into it. And it's a really cute plot line and movie. So it came out in 1993 and was directed by Simon Windsor. And it is all about Willy, who is a captive orca at an amusement park. And I feel like it's super fun because I actually work at an amusement park. So it was kind of had a little tie-in for me as well. As it's also the entire time all I could think about was SeaWorld, which is kind of sad.
Oh yeah. We don't support SeaWorld.
Yeah, I don't like SeaWorld, and so that's kind of all I could think about during this movie. It's kind of just because I know that that's a huge thing. And so and we also followed this boy who was vandalizing the amusement park, and then he becomes close with Willy. But then he finds out that they're gonna kill the whale for money, which is kind of the whole plot, which was not what I was expecting whatsoever. But it turned into to be a really cute plot line and a nice heartwarming story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like movies back then, for family movies, they had a lot of depth to them. Like, they weren't afraid to go places that they are now.
Yeah.
It was it's a really cool kind of balance of the family film, but real life stuff too. And
And there are movies about, humans and dogs and humans and other animals, but humans and orcas, that's just okay. That's unusual.
Yeah, I loved the formula that we was used for this movie because obviously we have the animals, the humans, but then you also have the theme park aspect going in as well. And so I think that we should just honestly get right into our character breakdown. First we have Jesse, who is, I would say, a normal troubled preteen. He is he's vandalizing a theme park. He tries to escape the police, but then he has to work at this theme park in lieu of his vandalism. And I just thought that as a 12-year-old preteen boy, I found his character surprisingly enjoyable.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he knows he Yeah, I thought he was older than 12. Like, he seemed like he had it all together, although he was vandalizing, the
Yeah.
park.
Yeah, I just feel
Yeah.
like there was a lot going on for him, and it kind of like worked out very well. I enjoyed what he added to the plot, obviously, with trying to save Willy towards the end. He's very connected with Willy, and he wants to free him, and they towards the end when they're all working together and they all take care of him, and Jesse encourages Willy to swim. There's just so much going on with Jesse, and I feel like Jesse is just such a strong propeller of the plot of this movie. And like just the ending I thought was like super heartwarming when Jesse says goodbye, and it was just so cute. I loved it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, and the other thing you need to know about Kid is that she could basically quote this entire movie. So
Pretty much. I mean, there's one quote in there where another character goes, Willy's worth $1 million. And then Jesse goes, $1 million? And Bob was like, when is that quote, Sydney? And I'm like, it's not for a while. When we were watching it.
yeah, so she could basically have it on mute and it would be okay. She could probably tell you what was happening.
Probably. Yeah.
I love that. I think that just like shows how much this movie means to you, and so that's why like having you here talk about it is obviously it was a great choice.
Yeah.
We've got the trainer and veterinarian Ray, who what do we think of Ray?
I like her.
Yeah,
I think she is a little rough around the edges, but she doesn't know what Jesse's capable of, and then once she figures it out, she's like more receptive of him.
Yeah.
that's a really good way to describe it. It's just kind of the reception and stuff, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really have like too much to say about like the trainer. I mean, I feel like she was pretty much just kind of a self-explanatory character. She also kind of joins in at the end with the whole plot of like freeing. Yeah.
I like when she comes to her senses and starts helping.
Yeah, because at first she was like, did you call the police? At first she's like, no, I'm not going to help Willy. Let's call the police instead.
Yeah. It was just I think that she was a cute character, and I think that Lori Petty did a great job with the character. I feel like also the cast of this movie was really, really well done.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. This was a movie that I grew up with, but once Kid came into the picture, it was kind of by default that I had to watch it. It was like required viewing. And
yes.
I was so glad that we watched it together. Because if I had watched it by myself, I probably would have liked it. But when I had all those facts being told to me every scene or two, it added to the whole experience.
Yeah, fun fact. The scene where Jesse falls in the pool was not originally in there.
Oh.
Where Willy saves him. That was not originally in there. They put that in there because the actual orca that played Willy, Keiko, he actually did that. A kid fell in his pool, and he actually did save their life. And so they put that in there after that happened.
That's really interesting. I love having like the fun facts of these movies, so I'm really glad that you're able to bring that.
Yeah.
We have Jane Atkinson's character of Annie Greenwood, who is the teacher, the foster mom, and Glenn's wife. She's okay. I feel like I didn't really have that much to say about her as a character.
Yeah, she's just a mom, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, she was there. She had her little plot points every once in a while. She kind of showed up, and that was about it.
She shows up a lot near the third act of the movie, where it's all winding down, and you get to see that really emotional scene with Jesse and her. But other than that, there isn't a lot with her.
Yeah. She was just kind of there, and I hate when I say that about characters, but like every once in a while there's kind of just a character that's just kind of there, and that's kind of the vibe.
Yeah.
August Schellenberg's character, Randolph Johnson, who is the caregiver.
Oh, there's a lot to say about him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's kick it off.
Tons.
What you got, kid?
Tons. As a kid, he would say things and I would be like, oh, that's cool. But like as an adult, I get it. Like I get the connection. Like I am the female version of Randolph.
Why don't you tell about your apartment?
I mean, my apartment literally is filled with orca pictures and like orca everything. You name it, I have it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can't even get her an orca themed gift because she goes, no, I have that.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
She's even adopted some orcas too.
Yes. You
That's
can
so
do
cool.
that.
Yeah.
And I kind of do have my version of Willy. I do have a certain orca that I bonded with. And that's kind of why it means a lot to me. Kasaka, if you're listening, which you're not.
Well, you know, hey. And to be fair, you know, aside from seeing this movie as a kid, you know, I saw it later in life, but I didn't really. But one kid came into the picture, like I was like, okay, this is a movie that could never happen again. But yeah, but back to Randolph, he's like the male version of Sid.
Yeah. Literally will do anything to save that whale.
I love that though, and I feel like when you have a character in a movie that you can really connect with or see like yourself in, always adds to it. So I really like that.
But this is literally like spitting image. Like you can't tell the difference from gender. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of weird, but we get it.
Yeah.
For sure. Glenn, character, who's the auto repairs owner, the dad and husband. What did we think of him?
He says something interesting that I disagree with. He said, you can't have two loves, apparently. And I disagree because I love that orca Kasaka with every fiber of my being. And I love Bob with every fiber of my being. So it's not
Aw.
true. You can't have two loves.
I didn't pay her to say that.
Oh, that was sweet. I mean, I don't know. He wasn't just another character that I didn't like
He
have
was rough.
anything.
He was rough.
Yeah.
Like, the, you know, it's like, but, he's dealing with a troubled kid. And when you hear you're dealing with a troubled kid, you're kind of like, first instinct is to be rough and gruff. But then he needed a lot of love, and that's how it ended. So he came
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a rough character, but also I feel like with everything that he was given, he was kind of like just kind of dealt a bad card, I guess,
Yeah.
if that's the phrasing
Yeah.
that I want to use.
Yeah.
Dial is the park owner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to kill him
Yes.
personally.
Yes. May I join you?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a douchebag. And more.
Yeah.
Yes. But this is a family film.
Yeah, family film. Obviously, I did not like him.
Well, nobody sits there and goes, "Oh my God, I love Dial."
And if you do, then you should probably get some therapy. Just saying.
I just
Yeah.
don't understand how anyone can really like Dial.
Well,
I don't-
there always has to be that villainous character in one of these films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, we hate Dial. We don't like Dial. Dial's
No.
bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dial it back. Dial it back.
I just don't, did not like him. As well as the assistant Wade was.
Wait, who is that?
His assistant, the guy that goes around with him.
Oh,
They're like two peas in a pod.
idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I obviously villains have to happen, but I was like,
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. Same.
It wasn't for me. Dwight, the social worker for Jesse.
Oh,
Sweet
Yeah.
He was
character.
cool. He's cool. I love him.
again, yeah, me too. Again, you got to be rough on these kids, but also he knew what he's up against, and he knew what Jesse had been through, and he kind of was his one stable thing throughout all of his life.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Like later when he shows up at the show, you're like, he's back?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sweet.
Yeah, I really liked him. He was a sweet character and he was just always there and I kind of loved it.
Yeah.
We've got Perry, who is the runaway orphan and friend of Jesse, along with Gwenny, who is the other orphan.
They're just there.
Yeah, pretty much. They don't really add anything dramatic to the plot.
Except they kind of dismiss Jesse's interest with Willy.
Really. Yeah, especially Perry.
Yeah, I feel like just if you're interested in something and your friends are like, oh, like kind of like not into it, I just always find it like a little weird because I feel like friends should be supportive.
I mean, kid, if you want, kind of explain how you were kind of nervous to tell me about your orca.
I mean, to describe it, Willy describes it? No. Jesse describes it perfectly. When he's like, do you have any scraps of fish? And the guy's like, why would your friend want scraps? And then Jesse's just like, well, my friend's a whale. And then the guy just goes, a whale? That's sums up my life, basically.
Yeah. So when I embraced it, Kid had like this sigh of relief, like he gets it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. I love that.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like, yeah, I feel like everyone has like some interest or like a part of them that like maybe they're afraid of like judgment. I feel like even in today's society, there's so many things that get judgment for like no reason. So I totally feel that, but like that's such a cute, heartwarming story.
I mean, you like what you like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference when you just like the thing and when you dedicate your life's work to it. And I'm not trying to give Kid like blush or whatever, but like I've never seen someone so committed to like advocating for something that people just dismiss or don't. Well, generally, I mean, like she's doing incredible work and it needs to get noticed.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, I have a Facebook page called Orca Crisis where I basically post about orcas and like the struggles that they go through and all that, and educate people on them.
for sure. And
Yeah.
I'll have that linked in the show notes for everyone who wants to go check that one out. I see them on my Facebook page all the time and I love it. And I love seeing your work, Sid. So I'll definitely make sure that everyone can access that
Yes, thank you.
after listening to the episode, for sure. Do we have anything else we want to add about the characters?
I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory, but the star of the show here, aside from Willy, is Jesse. Like that's like the perfect kid character in a movie, I feel.
Yeah.
Because you see every side of him in this running time. He's not a brat. He has moments, but he's got a heart. You know?
Yeah.
For sure.
And considering when this movie came out 3 years after Home Alone. So, the image of the child star was sort of like kind of reimagined as this bad boy get in trouble kid, but the way they flipped it on his head like that and made him lovable and love this orca, it was great.
I mean, if you think about it, Willy's the same way as Jesse. I mean, Ray and Randolph, they could never get him to perform. And then the second Jesse comes into his life, he's suddenly like, oh, okay. Yeah. I love you. You know, you're cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Honestly, I think that we can dive into the plot here. So, and like, just like you're doing with the characters, you kind of just hop in whenever you feel like it. So we start off in the beginning with like this little whale montage. I really liked it. I was really kind of intrigued to find out where it was going with this montage, and then they are tracked down, and then the whale, one of them specifically Willy, gets trapped and sent to a theme park called Northwest Adventure Park.
Yes.
And basically where he'll be spending his life in captivity and his family is unable to help him.
Pretty much.
It already has a heartbreaking start, but like I knew that it was gonna come around and be super cute and fun.
There's something interesting about that montage that I think we should share when we were watching and what I asked you.
So Bob asked me in the montage, he was like, I know they used robotic orcas, but are those real? And I'm like, yeah, those orcas in the montage are 100% real.
Like, I'm invested in these orcas as much as she is.
In fact, those are the orcas that I'm trying to save. That's where they filmed it. They filmed, like, those orcas are the southern residents.
Yeah.
That's them. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be really cool how the title came in. Like,
Me too.
that was some good editing. That was how it sort of dissolved into the, was it the pool? What was it? It was like, it was some cool editing trickery. I was like, oh. Yeah, but I love that montage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that opening montage, I loved it for sure. So then we are introduced to Jesse, who's 12 years old. He is a troubled, like, preteen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then so what I love about those first few minutes with him is that you automatically get that he's a trouble kid.
Yeah.
There's no beating around the bush. You automatically get it. And I didn't know, because again, I hadn't seen it in probably like 5 or 6 years until I watched it with kid. I didn't know how Willy came to play. I forgot about pretty much all of it. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's... But from those first few minutes, you get to realize that he's a trouble kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we see the whole vandalizing scene that's kind of going on. He gets like arrested along with Perry, who are trying to escape the police, where he encounters Willy, who is a orca whale. And so the foster, that's not the right word, the social worker tries to help find him a home and clean up the graffiti that he did. And he is placed with Annie and Glenn. And he's kind of just not very nice to them at first.
No.
Well, would you be? I mean, you're just placed in a random home where you've been placed home after home after home throughout your life. So this is just common knowledge to you.
Yeah.
You think you're going to go in there and then you're going to get kicked out, you know?
Yeah. It was kind of like definitely a start, and like the way that the character was introduced, I was really intrigued to see where they were going to go with this plot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that whole thing of like Jesse being kind of not bitter, but like just not invested. I totally get, because he's been through it a lot. So it's gonna take him a while to open up, and when he finally does, it's wonderful.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we see Jesse gets to see the whale again, and he's uncooperative with Ray. And so, but the whale starts liking like the harmonica playing, and he saves him from drowning too. So we kind of start to see a bond.
You want to tell about the harmonica? Kid.
The reason why Willy responded to the harmonica is because it sounds like his family. I mean, like underwater, it sounds like the calls that orcas make.
Wow.
Like that whistle whistle noise, like just, yeah. That's why I really love the harmonica.
But yeah, I mean, but I sort of wanted to get into you and the harmonica.
Oh yeah. So my grandma got me a harmonica not that long ago, and the first song that I learned was those first 4 notes. The da-na, da-na.
Yes.
Yes, because
And I got my very own private concert.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, but it shows you this movie's more than a movie to her. It's like a way of life.
It literally is. Yes.
For sure. So yeah, they start to have a bond. However, he kind of from there he gets offered a job. And as he starts to warm up to his new home.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. And I think he doesn't know what to expect at first, but he knows that he loves Willy and he'll do anything for Willy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love seeing that connection start to form for sure.
Yeah.
So then Dial starts to see the talent that Jesse has with the whale. And so they kind of want to have like a TV show to kind of like maximize money, which is kind of like the weirdest thing to kind of just come out of it, is to go straight into like a TV show.
I mean, I just think they were doing anything to profit it.
Yeah.
For sure. They saw something and they're like, let's run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well of like the whole the whale kind of doesn't perform, and Jesse's unable to do tricks. Then we also have like the whole spectator thing, and like theme park shows coming from a theme park performer. Sometimes you get a rough crowd, and it is.
Oh, because I know you. I know the stories about the Christmas.
Oh
show.
Yeah, some of my favorite stories include being booed walking on stage.
No, I don't get that because this guy over here is amazing.
Thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't even do anything. Like, I didn't even say a line. I didn't even like do anything. I just walked on stage and I got booed.
Okay then.
Yeah. So it just some of these crowds are so. It's theme park performing is definitely, it's a blast, but you definitely have some audience members have some weird pressures, for sure. But in the movie, it just kind of keeps going on. He tries to find his mom, but then Willy starts cracking the tank because he's having a rough day, and then the banging with the whales. Like anytime you go to a zoo, it always is like, don't touch the glass, bang on the glass, etc.
That whole scene gave me an anxiety.
Yeah, because whales are really noise sensitive. So like that whole thing, just like them making a bunch of noise, threw Willy off, and he's just like, "Hey, I don't like this. Could you shut up?"
Yeah,
I'd perform if you'd be quiet.
Jesse kind of storms off at this point. But then he notices that the pod is calling to him, and they know that he's doing so bad in captivity. And it is just, that scene like was super, that I thought it was like super like heart to heart for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that scene is like, and you know that Willy, obviously, he's a whale, but he doesn't want to be shown to everybody. You know, it's like He wants to
doesn't
do
wanna
his
be
tricks.
there.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be in that park, period.
Period. Yeah.
Just
And from there, we've got the observation area, where Wade and colleagues are like sneaking in to like break the tank, and which will kill the
So-
whale.
funny story about that. Not really funny, but 7-year-old me cried when they did that. 7-year-old me was like bawling my eyes out. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you trying to kill him? So like I knew back then, like, not cool.
Now, was that before the scene that I asked you? Why?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
yeah,
we'll get there.
yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then that's when they find out that the whale has like the $1 million insurance policy, which leads into that
Say it.
line.
She gotta say it.
$1 million?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, it was there. Had to do it.
Yes.
It's really just very it's really messed up. Like it's really bad. It's really poorly messed up what they're trying to do. But yeah, people love money, I guess. And they will do anything for it, including killing a whale, which is so wrong.
Yeah.
And so Randolph reveals the plan. And so Jesse is like, let's free the whale, and gets Ray on board. This includes the forklift that they use Glenn's truck to tow him to the marina. However, Wade calls Dial about the whale being stolen. So at this point, it started heating up. Like, I was enjoying the movie, don't get me wrong, and I thought it was super cute and heartwarming. But now we started getting like some drama and some action, and I was in on it.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it like got so interesting, and so then they launch a search. Jesse, Randolph, and Ray, they use back roads, and they try to like avoid being seen, but they eventually get stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
So there's a little bump in the road.
Can you guys just imagine that? You're just, driving along, and then all of a sudden you see this truck with this orca on the back of it, just like, huh?
Yeah.
There was a lot to take in at this point, because I felt like there was like still so little time in the movie, but they still kind of kept having these bumps in the road in the plot line.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, because I watched it on Amazon Prime, and I like watched, and I was like, wait, there's not that much time left. And I was like, okay. And I was like, just a little shocked that they kept having these bumps in the road. But sometimes I think it works well when movies they don't have a straight shot to the end, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
how are they gonna tie this up?
Yeah, that was how I was kind of wondering. I was like, how are we gonna get to the end of the movie? And so they call Glenn and Annie using a radio. They show up and help free the truck, and they make a stop at the car wash. But Dial was there at the marina because he obviously is the villain, so he's trying to stop everything. Glenn smashes in the gate and then backs Willy into the water.
Yep.
But now this is the part that got me, is when he's released, he doesn't move right away because he's been like on dry land, and it just kind of like broke my heart for a hot second. Like, I knew that there had to be like some form of happy ending coming at this point.
Yeah, but like even Jesse is like, Randolph, why isn't he moving?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, It was a journey, man.
It was.
It was. And so with the encouragement that Jesse provides, he's able to start swimming. However, Dial's ships kind of go into the marina, and Jesse runs and calling to the whale to follow him. It's just kind of a lot. Then he goes towards the nets, which then I started panicking. I was like, can they just please get to the ending at this point?
Yeah.
He goes to the edge to see that he'll make the jump, and it'll be like his highest jump ever, and he'll be free, which is like putting so much pressure riding on this one situation.
My favorite thing is he's like, you really think you're gonna jump like that?
And then Randolph is just like, things can happen.
Yeah. And Jesse says goodbye, and he does a little prayer, gives the signal, he makes the jump, lands on the other side, and returns to the family, and it is a happy ending. And it was cute. It was so touching. It was a lot more touching than I thought it was going to be.
Now, okay, and I'm sure Sid wants to know this too. What were you expecting?
Yeah.
I thought this movie was about a talking whale.
I mean, he does talk in his own.
He does communicate. Yeah.
I was just expecting a talking whale. This man or this child finds him in like the ocean, and it was like some crazy movie. I was not expecting the theme park. I was not expecting like troubled kids. But I loved it. And I didn't know this until I was getting ready to record today, that there's actually like 3 or 4 more movies that go along with this.
Oh, yeah.
But
The second one is great. The third one is just, they wanted money at that point.
And you didn't even know about the fourth one.
No.
Yeah, I always love when I'm watching a movie and I think that it's tied up so perfectly with a bow, and then I find out that they milked the franchise for like 3 more movies.
And then there was an animated cartoon.
Oh.
Which Sydney did not know about.
No, I did not.
That's so interesting. It's kind of giving like the same energy as like the Home Alone, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. That was the time of the family film, so they were really trying to capitalize off it.
Yeah.
Just like they were with Willy. But, yeah, I love this film.
Me too.
Yeah, I would say I'm going to have to give it a 9 out of 10.
I would give it a 9.5.
A million out of 10.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming. It just was so cute. It was not what I was expecting. I've said that like a million times, but I always feel like the unexpected movies are the ones that I enjoy the most.
Can we just talk about the iconic Michael Jackson song at the end?
I was shocked. I was like, Michael Jackson?
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
It was great. So I loved every second of it.
The other thing I want to bring up is that Sid and I watched this together. I surprised her and just put it on randomly. I told her we were going to watch something else, and then I started the credits of that, and she was like,
oh my god.
So tell the story that you thought was quote unquote cute when we were watching it.
Oh. So at one point, Willy was like crying to his family because he was like, he could hear his family and he was like crying to them. So Bob goes, why is he crying? In like the sweetest like 5-year-old voice ever. And I'm like, because he misses his family.
I was literally transported back to being a kid.
Yeah.
It was just such a heartwarming like movie, and the vibes, like the 90s vibes were super strong in this movie. And
Can we talk about the clothing?
it felt dated but not at the same
I
time.
love it so much.
It just kind of, I just loved the way that it kind of just pulled everything together.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how they had an Easter egg in there where it's like Annie's like, Dwight said you like blue. There's lots of blue. Gee, I wonder why. Ocean, blue. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I put that together a long time ago.
Well, you think about things that people don't think about. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
Yeah.
The other thing that you should bring up, Shannon, I would, but you know about this more than I do, is Keiko.
Yeah. Keiko. Kids love this movie so much that they were like, well, what about the actual whale that played Willy? Is he free? Can we free him too? So they actually did. Because
Wow.
kids were so moved by it that like everybody was like, yeah, like that's great for Willy, but like what about Keiko?
And Keiko is no longer with us.
Sadly. Although he did spend like a year and a couple months out in the wild. Happy as can be.
Yeah.
That's so sad. Like, I know it's like heartwarming, but it's sad.
Yeah.
And there are a ton of other movies aside from Free Willy that have this aquatic theme that kid and I love, like Dolphin Tale and things like that. So
yes.
we might be back for those too.
We might.
You know what? I'd be here for it because I don't remember what Dolphin Tale was. It was one of the Dolphin Tale movies came out around my birthday, and so I took a bunch of my friends when I was younger to go see that Dolphin Tale movie for my birthday, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just want to say thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. I also feel bad because I feel like we've been planning this forever, but I'm so glad that we finally got to make it happen. And that's how it's been with all my episodes lately. I've been planning them forever and ever.
You've been going through a lot.
So much is going on. Podcast took a little break, but we're coming back. We're better than ever, ready to go for another couple episodes, and things are getting back together, and I love it. And I also want to give a special shout out to Bob for 12 years on the DJ Bob Show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
This will be out. When is it going to be out?
It'll probably be out like next week.
Oh, so yeah, on July 19th, we turn 12, and I will announce this here right now. We've got 3 brand new episodes dropping on that day.
Yeah.
Love it.
One of which is with the voice of Siri, the original voice of Siri for Apple.
That's so exciting.
That was a fun chat that you'll get to hear.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm so excited for you.
And before that, Sydney and I recorded a podcast episode of our show where I introduced her to my audience. So things are really cooking.
I love it. Yeah. I'm so excited to see all that comes up, and I'm so proud of everything. And I'm so glad that both of you guys could be here. Bob, and then Sydney, you can go after for Orca Crisis. Where can everyone find all of your stuff and support you? Online?
Well, you can head to Facebook, because we are getting a new website launched that I don't know if we're going to have the address by the time this is up, so I'm not going to Okay, just go Facebook and search the DJ Bob Show, Twitter, the DJ Bob Show, Instagram, DJ Bob Show podcast, I think. Maybe? It'll be in the show notes.
It'll be on the show notes. It always is.
Yeah.
And Kid, promo.
And as for Orchid Crisis, just Facebook, just Orchid Crisis. And Instagram, what is it? Orchid dot.
Orchid dot crisis, because Orchid Crisis was already taken.
Yeah.
Or no. It wasn't already taken. I made it. It wouldn't let me go into the account.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
And again, we will be back here for more fun with you because we love you.
Yes, we do.
I am so glad that both of you guys can join me for today's episode. Thank you everyone so much for listening as well. I drop new episodes every other Friday now here on the podcast. And I am having a great time this summer. And it's been such a great joy to spend all this time with you guys releasing these new episodes. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the places at That's So Matthew. And you can find me online at that'smatthew.com. I'll see you all in another episode again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.